Today, I wish to start with short theory questions from a chapter, Accounting for Debentures. The questions are from section B. Observe them on the screen. What is debenture? Debenture is an instrument in writing wherein company acknowledges its debt towards the holder of debenture. This instrument is issued under the seal of company. Seal means signature of a company. When seal is fixed by the company, means company has signed. So when you acknowledge the debt, you have to give a signature. That's why debenture is an instrument in writing issued under a seal of a company. Observe it. Debenture is an instrument in writing given under a seal by a company acknowledging debt received from the debenture holder who is from public. So anybody can become a debenture holder either by applying to the company to have the debentures or subsequently by obtaining the debenture from the market, from the open market, from another debenture holder. Debentures are called creditorship securities, or these constitute borrowed or loan capital of the company. The other name of debenture, creditorship security. Third name, loan capital of the company. Next. Give two broad sources for long-term requirement of capital. Company depends on following two broad sources for long-term funding. One, issue of share capital, equity share capital, preference share capital, issue of debentures. So these are the two main sources of funding to a company. Next. Why debenture holders do not have any voting right? See, debenture is an instrument in writing wherein company has acknowledged its debt. Debenture holders are the creditors, not the owners. Owners have a right to vote. Owners have a right to control the affairs of the company, not the creditors. Debenture holders are not the owners of the company because the debenture is an instrument in writing given under a seal by a company acknowledging debt received from the debenture holders who is from public, and fixed interest is payable to the debenture holders as per the terms of issue on a specified date, but not the share in profit. So debenture holders are not entitled to have a share in profit. Thus, debenture holders have no voting right in the company. Next. Can debentures be forfeited if the debenture holders do not pay any call money? Suppose that amount of debenture is collected in installment on application, allotment, first call, etc. If first call or second call is not paid by debenture holders, we say that calls are in arrears. Now if the calls are in arrears for issued equity share, company has a right to forfeit. But does debenture can be forfeited in the same way? The answer to the question, debentures cannot be forfeited. Debentures cannot be forfeited even if the calls thereon are in arrears. As it is a debt of the company can file a suit in the court of law as per the provisions of Company Act to realize the amount of unpaid calls. So company can file a suit for recovery of unpaid calls but cannot forfeit. Cannot forfeit the amount already paid by the debenture holders because it's a liability of the company and you don't have a right to forfeit the liability. Next. State the types of charges of the debenture. What is charge? Charge means asset given as an attachment to an obligation. Asset given as security for the liability. Asset encumbered with a commitment to pay in priority the liability. Such assets are known as charged assets. Now, the types of charge on the debenture are debentures having fixed charge on the assets. Suppose that debentures of 2 lakhs are issued the charge is created in the machinery. Then machinery is a fixed asset on which charge is created. So debenture having a fixed charge on the asset known as machinery. This is one type of charge. Debenture having a floating charge on the assets of the company. Floating charge on the assets of the company. So charge flows from one asset to another asset. If the previous asset is sold by the company, then charge flows to the another asset acquired by the company. So such type of charge is known as floating charge. Next. In which type of debentures interest coupons are to be attached by bearer debentures? The interest coupons are attached with bearer debentures for periodic interest payment, and such coupons are like checks or orders for payment of interest which can be encashed on due date. On bearer debenture, it is negotiable just by delivery. It is transferable just by delivery. So, whosoever is the holder of the debenture on the due date of interest, they get interest coupon already attached therein, and on the basis of that interest coupon, they can collect the interest. Next. In which circumstances a resolution for issue of debenture is required to be passed at the general meeting of the company? By issue of debentures, company borrow money. Company can borrow money either equal to its share capital and accumulated resource. If company wants to borrow money more than the investment of the equity shareholders or investment of the shareholders, the company has to pass a resolution in the general meeting of shareholders. So, remember, when the debentures are issued, after borrowing the debentures, the total borrowed funds are more than the funds contributed by the equity shareholders. In such circumstances, the resolution has to be passed. If the amount of debenture together with other borrowed funds exceed the total amount of paid up capital plus reserves of the company, a resolution for issue of debenture is required to be passed at a general meeting of the company. Now suppose that the share capital of company 3 lakhs, accumulated reserves are 1 lakh, 4 lakhs is the shareholder funds. Now there already exists a liability of 2,50,000. Now company wants to issue debentures of 3 lakhs. So 2 lakh plus 2,50,000 plus 3 lakhs. Total amount become 5,50,000. That is more than share capital plus reserve. In such circumstances, the resolution must be passed at the meeting of shareholders. Next. For which purpose the amount of debenture premium is used? Debenture premium account is utilized to write off the capital losses like discount on issue of shares, premium on redemption of equity shares, or premium on redemption of preference shares, or premium on redemption of buyback of equity shares, or transfer to capital reserve. Debenture premium can be utilized as resolved by the directors because no restrictions are prescribed in the Companies Act 1956. Debenture premium cannot be utilized for distribution of dividend. This is the important point to be noticed for debenture premium. Debenture premium is a capital income of the company, under which head the amount of debenture premium is to be shown in the balance sheet. Generally credited to debenture premium account, generally credited at the time of allotment of debentures, if otherwise not stated. Debenture premium appears under the head reserves and surplus on the liability side of the balance sheet and is utilized to write off the capital losses like discount or issue of shares, premium on redemption of shares, etc. Next. Where and how the amount of arrears of calls on debentures are to be shown in the balance sheet of the company. If the calls are in arrears for debentures, how should it be reported in the financial statement? The unpaid calls are deducted from the principal sum of debentures, means called up amount of debentures. From called up amount not received means amount arrears is to be deducted. And after deduction, whatever the net amount is there, that appears on the liability side of the balance sheet, under the title of secured loan. When calls on debentures are in arrears, such amount of arrears will be shown on the liability side of the balance sheet of a company by way of deduction from the called up amount of debenture in the inner column, and only net amount will be shown on the liability side of the balance sheet in the outer column under the title of secured loan. Next. Which type of debentures are to be redeemed and where is to be shown a period of redemption of debentures. So generally debentures are by default redeemable, and so redeemable debentures has to be redeemed. Why? Okay, when will it be redeemed? Where it is shown? It is shown on the debenture certificate itself, or it is shown, or it is declared in the debenture trustee. Redeemable debentures can be redeemed after a certain period. The period of redemption is stated in the debenture certificate or in the debenture trust deed. This is the place where disclosure is made as to the time for maturity and redemption of debentures. Next. In which circumstances the debenture trustees are required to be appointed at the time of issue of debentures. Now see, debenture trustees are the representatives of the debenture holders who take care of interest and rights of debenture holders. If the debentures are redeemable after a period more than 18 months, the debenture trustees are generally appointed. Public companies issues prospectus or statement in lieu of prospectus for inviting members of public to subscribe for its debenture. Trustees for debenture holders are appointed as per the trust deed to protect the interest of debenture holders if redeemable beyond a period of 18 months from the date of issue. Under such circumstances, debenture trust deed is to be prepared and the trustees are to be appointed as per its terms. Which are the two conditions? The debentures are offered to the public and the debentures are redeemable after a period exceeding 18 months. Next. How to show the issue of debentures as collateral security in the balance sheet of a company? Collateral security is a secondary security. Security means asset or a right given to a money lender for the recovery of the amount lent. Debentures given to the bank as secondary security of loan. No accounting entry is passed in the books of company for the same. However, along with the bank loan, the same will be shown in the inner column under the heading of secured loan on the liability side of the balance sheet as shown below. See, bank loan against stock. So the amount is borrowed by a company from a bank, creating a charge on the stock. Over and above the stock, against which company has given a 9% debentures to a 50,000 as collateral security. So debentures given to bank as a secondary security of loan is known as collateral security. And this is how it's reported. Next. Under which head the Debenture Redemption Premium account is to be shown in the balance sheet. Now Debenture Redemption Premium is a liability. Is shown under the head provisions on the liability side of the balance sheet of the company. So Debenture Redemption Premium is shown as provisions on the liability side of the balance sheet. Next. Under which head the loss on issue of debenture account is to be shown in the balance sheet. Now see, loss on issue of debenture to the extent not written off. If the amount is not written off, then and then it appears in the balance sheet. To the extent not written off is to be shown under the head miscellaneous expenditure not written off on the asset side of the balance sheet. This is how it's reported. Next. State two methods for redemption of debentures. redemption of debentures on a fixed date in future, redemption of part of debentures every year. These are the two ways by which debentures could be redeemed. Next, state any two types of debentures. We have studied types of debentures in theory lecture. On the basis of security, simple or naked debentures, or mortgage debentures. On the basis of negotiability, in the record viewpoint, borrower debenture and registered debenture. This we have already studied in theory session. Next, which balance has two Debenture Redemption Fund Account? Under which head it is to be shown in the balance sheet? Debenture Redemption Fund. Holds a credit balance. It appears in the title of Reserves and Surplus on the liability side of balance sheet. Debenture Redemption Fund Account is a credit balance and it is to be shown on the liability side under the head Reserves and Surplus. In the balance sheet, because it accrues out of appropriation of profit. So journal entry for transferring funds to Debenture Redemption Fund is profit and loss appropriation account debit to Debenture Redemption Fund Account. So this is also reason why it appears under the title of Reserves and Surplus. Next. Under which circumstances the amount of Debenture Redemption Fund is to be used by the company for issue of bonus shares or equity shares. Now see, Debenture Redemption Fund created out of appropriation of profit. The purpose of this fund is to redeem the liability. After redemption of the liability, the credit balance of fund is a part of general reserve, and general reserve is always available for distribution of bonus shares to the equity shareholders. After redemption of debentures, a company can use the accumulated amount credited to Debenture Redemption Fund Account for the purpose of issue of bonus shares because it becomes a part of general reserve on redemption of debentures. Next. How much amount is to be transferred to general reserve account from the Debenture Redemption Fund Account? At the time of only some part of the debentures have been redeemed. Now see. Debentures are 20 lakhs. Out of that, 4 lakhs rupees are redeemed. So face value of debenture redeemed is 4 lakhs. And suppose that redemption is done out of accumulating profit to Debenture Redemption Fund Account. So from Debenture Redemption Fund Account, you should transfer 4 lakhs to general reserve. The amount equal to the face value of debentures redeemed is transferred to general reserve in case of partial redemption of debentures. Out of 20 lakhs, 4 lakhs are redeemed, partial redemption. 4 lakhs is the face value of debenture redeemed. So 4 lakhs should be transferred to general reserve from Debenture Redemption Fund Account. Next. In which circumstances the convertible debentures are attractive to the investor? Now in convertible debenture, the status of debenture holder changes. They become owners from their status of a creditor. Now, when they are very eager to have equity shares, when it becomes attractive, convertible debenture holders get equity shares on conversion. So against debentures, they are getting equity shares. The convertible debentures are attractive to the investors if the market price of converted equity shares, market price of equity shares received in exchange is more than the exchange value of converted debentures. So, the debenture face value, either totally or some part of it, gets converted into equity shares. So, exchange converted value of debenture, and in exchange the equity shares received by the debenture holder. The market price of the equity share is more than the exchange value converted into equity shares. In that situation, the conversion is very attractive to the debenture holders. Next. What is debenture stock? Now see. Debenture with a consistent face value and negotiable only at that face value, transferable only at that face value, are not identified as debenture stock. But debenture stock is a debenture liability of a company without prescribing the number of debentures. So there is no number of debentures but debenture stock. Suppose that if you have got a stock of 300 kilograms of sugar, You can give 100 gram of sugar to anybody. You can give 300 gram of sugar to anybody against the total stock. So stock means a volume with no identifiable quantity. So debenture stock in the same way, for convenience when the debentures are issued as a total amount, not number of debentures with this much of face value, without any denomination of number of debentures. It is known as debenture stock and are always fully paid up. Debenture stock can never be partly paid up, can be transferable in fractions and not identified with the numbers assigned as the case with the debentures. So debenture stock is a volume of money from which any value is negotiable. Next. What is zero interest debenture? Now see. A zero interest debenture does not carry any interest, but it is solely by issuing company at a discount. Now, debenture of 1,000 issued, debenture face value 1,000 issued at a discounted price of 250. So the holder who wants to have the debenture has to give me 250. I promise to redeem him 1,000. Say after 20 years. So difference between 1,000 and 250 is actually the interest, but it is identified as discount. That's why it is known as zero interest debenture. The difference between the discounted value and the maturity face value represents the interest to be earned by the investor on some debenture. So the difference between discounted value 250 and the maturity face value 1,000 is known as discount, but it represents what? Interest earned by the investor. Next. What is deep discount debentures? The deep discount bonds, zero coupon bonds, deep discount bonds are in the form of zero interest bond that we just discussed. These bonds are to be sold at a discounted value and a maturity face value is paid to the investors. In such bonds, there is no interest payment or interest payout during the lock-in period. So during the lock-in period, no interest is paid. The amount is received today. The total amount is face value is to be paid on maturity. Discounted value is received today. Face value is to be paid on maturity. During the tenure, that is no interest payout during the lock-in period. That's an important point. So for example, IDBI was forced to issue deep discount bonds in India in January 1992. The bond of a face value of 1 lakh was sold for rupees 2,700 rupees with a maturity period of 25 years. So the IDBI says that pay me 2,700 rupees right now. I will pay you after 25 years. How much amount? 1 lakh. During this 25 years time span, I will not pay you any interest. You will get 1 lakh on maturity on payment of discounted value 2,700 right now. This is the example for deep discount bond. What is deep gain debentures? Deep gain debentures are like deep discount debentures. The only difference is that debentures are redeemable at a huge amount premium on an issue price thereof. Now suppose that if I say that the face value of debenture today is 2,700, but the redemption premium amount redeemable after 25 years is say 1 lakh, then it is an illustration of deep gain debenture. Then it becomes an illustration for deep gain debenture. Now, this is how I have tried to explain you